searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way, yeah. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah. Light is gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the land. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah.
When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. Earth from a bird's eye view. You should grow feathers and see this too. When you want to get off the darkest ground, but gravity pulls you straight down. When you want to get off the darkest
What's going down, Malvina? I'm just... Hey, Mr. Melon Falcon, how you doing? I'm just trying to figure out... Because I'm noticing... I think you guys are here this morning when I was streaming it, like it was kind of getting pixelated. So I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything I can actually change to resolve that. You know what? I'm probably going to disconnect here in a second. I'm going to try rebooting my router. Yeah, I'm going to try... Yeah, so I should be back within about 3 minutes. Kind of thinking that... Yeah. Alright, yeah, so I should be back in about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay. And that we are. So, let me see. So there's no movement on the screen, so I'm not going to have the issues. Now, I can't see that being what's been causing the problems. That would just be way too easy of a solution, but yeah. Oh, what? Oh, me? I thought you meant you. Yeah. I bought one of... Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I would actually be over 20,000. I bought two of the Apocalypse FGMC the other day, and then one of the a Cavalier today. The Cavalier today was just for a video I wanted to make, so be it. Yeah, you know, when you said almost 20,000 units, I thought you meant you almost had 20,000 units. Okay, so I'm not seeing any messages about anything bad. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, it's good that I'm not seeing. Well, okay, let me do this white and see while doing that what it says in regards to the quality. Man, that'd be so crazy if that's all it takes to resolve that. Holy cow. Okay. What a guy. What a guy. this should do that. There. Yes. Okay. Wow. So that looks like. All right. I'll give it a couple minutes before I actually say anything in regards to it, but that might be what's the issue, is simply having to do a router reset. Huh. So that's kind of why I want to do all of variant 5. Why I intend to stream all of that is just to try actually streaming some content and just seeing how it works out. I think for the most part, so you were there when I was streaming it the other day, right? So like there was a few times where, well, okay, I would have died regardless, but there was a few times I think, I don't know if dying or not would have been where streaming I wasn't playing as well. But if it's not like a complete difference, like if I'm using 5 more revives for an entire chapter over I would if I wasn't streaming, then I think I would stream. But if it's like a really big difference, then no. So yeah, if it costs me a little bit more while streaming, I may do it. Act 7 I don't know though, because it's going to be longer and harder fights, and yeah, one of the things is like without sound I find it a little bit harder, but we'll see. I won't say that's my intent, but I won't say that's definitely a no either. Wow, so that's really interesting. So yeah, so since I rebooted the router, it's not looking too bad quality-wise. Mr. PC, how goes it? Well, I mean, any hero rating, it's just a matter of as you progress, right? Like the hero rating is just a measure of your progression in a sense, right? Because the more characters you have, the higher they're ranked, the higher rating's going to be. So, and of course, don't sell champs. Mr. Boneman, how goes it? How goes it? Man, this would be crazy if that's what it was. It was the router needing to be rebooted, as considering all of the different like settings I was looking at. Shit, son, shit. I gotta say though, Melvin, I did find not so much the first two, not so much the first 2 paths I did of Variant 5, but the parts, the Mystic stuff, I did find fun. I quite like that. Well, I mean, it's his account, it's his characters. I think, yeah, sure, it might not be the best idea, but I think for the most part we're all free to do what we want with our accounts. I'm going to end up with a couple extra keys for the island stuff. Because I think for everything that's left, there's not much more that I want off the island. So, and we've still got a couple more days of it. So I don't know what we'll get with the. Well, we probably won't get anything if we don't use them. So maybe I'll just end up going for sig stones or something. But I mean, we're getting lots of sig stones now just from the solo event stuff. Basically, just getting sig stones for playing the game. So I got the 6 stars. Well, they should be off of cooldown soon. So then we'll have another 4 million there. The 5 stars are about where I would expect for this kind of time. I haven't started with the 4 stars yet, but that's alright. The 4 stars and the 3 stars are usually done later anyways. Well, considering the amount of times that people around him have been testing positive, it makes sense that he finally did. Oh dear. Well, if he tested positive, oh right, they didn't shake hands. I was wondering why they didn't shake hands after the debate, but yeah, okay, that makes sense now. But yeah, I would assume then Biden will probably be testing positive as well. As far as I've known, because there's been quite a few world leaders that have contracted it, but as far as I've known, the only one that was in any serious condition was Boris Johnson. Oh lordy, I'm going to use good. I can't use 6 stars, so they're safe. Monsieur Lakers, your boyfriend not alive yet, Lakers? Dude, I gotta stop picking on you about that, honestly. But I still find it funny, so I probably will keep picking on you about it. Oh dear. No, I'm not blaming you for my lack of anything. It's just that I aspire to be somewhat like you, so I figure if you're around, I have to show you that I'm able to lose 6 stars like a pro. That's all. Hey, you know what, Lakers? I don't think I've ever asked you this, but do you enjoy Arena, or do you just find it like a necessary evil kind of thing? It is nighttime, so it is kind of shady there, Tiger. Come on now. Oh. So in all seriousness, if I were to send you a message on Discord sometime in regards to your overlays on your stream and what you've done in Streamlabs and whatnot, you think you'd be able to provide some advice? Because I really like the way like your transitions and just the way it's set up. I really like the way that's done. Yeah, yeah. No, I agree without suicides. I've tried it a few times, like when I was doing the Abyss, where I had suicides off, and I think I did it once or twice, and basically what I ended up having to do was I wouldn't start the Abyss until arenas were almost done. I just could not. Like honestly, even to do like the T1A or the T4B arenas without suicides, I find just too tedious. But yeah, man, I think out of in all honesty, I've told you before, there's not many YouTubers I actually watch, but for any of the streams that I've been on for any amount of time, I really like the way your layout is. Yeah, yeah. But I also like how like you're changing it from the focus being on you, like on the webcam, as opposed to the gameplay, and then how you've got like the slideshow on the side and stuff. Like I just like those kind of concepts. Oh Lord, here we go. Now people are gonna say I'm your Lakers bodyguard as you are to Brian Grant. Oh dear. I think, Bone Man, I think that if regardless who becomes president in November, I think they may end up changing some of the requirements to run. Like, I think they may have it so that you have to release your taxes, maybe an age limit, maybe a cognitive test. But, to be honest though, I do think some of those things probably are warranted. I haven't. Oh, fine, I'll say it. I know as soon as I say it, it's about to happen. I don't think I've lost an arena streak in maybe about a year, close to a year. But if I'm gonna lose it, I'd rather lose it in like the 3 or 4 stars. Losing it with the 6 or 5s, that sucks, man. And it's crazy how much faster Arena is going. So I used to watch TV when I was doing Arena because I found like that was a good distraction or whatever. But for the most part, I could only like watch one episode of a show, and then I'd have to change like something. But I like either being on somebody's stream, like in their chat, or if I'm reading like this chat, I find Arena goes so much faster. Although maybe it would be harder though if there was like a lot of people in chat and I was trying to keep up with what was being said. But for me, for the pace of chat and like having to look up every couple of seconds, it works out really well. Oh yeah, so if you do want to do the race, well, you know what? It doesn't even have to be a race. It could simply be 2 people farming potions at the same time, but sharing the screen. So yeah, if you do want to do that, let me know like about 5 minutes before you're intending to go live, and then we can set it up through Discord. Like you can stream it, and I'll be on Discord, and then you can end up just sharing what I'm doing on Discord. Because I think whoever is broadcasting on Discord wouldn't be able to stream it as well. So and I'm fine with not streaming it. All right, Mr. Lakers, have a good one. Yeah, man, Falcon, and that's why I keep. Well, for the most part, to be honest, I don't potion farm. I will pick up revives. Like I'll do the revive farming, and mainly it's only because it's in 5.3.6 where I can also get the energy refills. But yeah, the potion farming I find so boring. So two things that have made it a little bit interesting for me is just trying different teams, usually for Aegon. So that's one thing that makes it a bit interesting, and I think doing it as a race or with somebody else in a sense, I think that would also make it more interesting. So it's just not as mundane. All right, Melvin, I'll still be here. I don't know if the stream will, but I will. So I mean, I've said that to Lakers a couple times and Putrid as well, as far as like racing or sharing the screen, whatever. But I mean, if there's any of the people that watch me stream, if any of you are on Discord and want a potion farm, we can do the same thing. So yeah, if you have Discord and you are able to share your phone screen through Discord, we can do that. Yeah. Yeah, so I think a couple people, when I've suggested to them, I think they're thinking I'm doing it or saying that because I have a high rank Aegon, and so I'll probably win. I don't care. I'll use a different character. Like, it's not about the winning or losing. It's simply, it's a competition. So you're gonna. It's not like oh god, I gotta do this, right? You're like, oh, who's going faster and stuff. And I think maybe not, but I think for the people watching, it would be a little bit more interesting than simply watching somebody go and get potions, right? I mean, I guess in a sense, you could kind of do it where you run it once, time yourself, and then try to beat that time. But I just think it would be more interesting. You got somebody else in voice and blah blah blah. So I think it would come down to how far you intend to go. Like, let's say, for example, if you were to stop at Vision, Archangel might win. If you were to say, you go all the way to Hulk, I really don't think that anybody would beat Aegon all the way to Hulk. Another one would be going just to Wolverine, not doing the Wolverine fight. Yeah. So I mean, that would be interesting to do it. I think most fast champions would beat Aegon if you were doing the first 2 or 3 fights. If you're only doing the first 2 or 3, I think Domino, maybe Namor would beat Aegon, but I'm pretty sure that if you're intending to do an entire run all the way to Hulk, I think Aegon would beat pretty much anybody. Yeah, so Bowman, if you want to do that sometime, I'm down for it. I think the fastest I've done it with Aegon, and I don't think it was the best team damage-wise, but I think the fastest I've done it was between 16 and 18 minutes. I know it was somewhere in that range. So Man Falcon, okay, so with Wolverine, I think if Aegon is already at 500 combo, I think he would still beat Archangel. If he's not already at 500 combo, then Archangel would probably win. Because if Aegon's already at 500, the healing never becomes an issue right from the get-go. Well, and if you're able to share your phone screen in Discord, we could try it sometime. I mean, obviously somebody could try that on their own too, right? But again, it's just like what I was saying. I just think it's more interesting if you're doing it as a competition. Kind of like the incursion stuff, right? Like I think people are finding the incursion stuff maybe a little bit more interesting because it's being done as a competition. I mean, I guess you'd probably watch people doing incursions anyways, but it just adds that extra level of interest to it. Because the thing is, too, with the RL farming, for the most part, I mean, at least to me, other than Winter Soldier, everyone else in there acts like they would anywhere else in the game. For some reason, Winter Soldier just seems like he acts totally different. How are you, Nick? Unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish or read Spanish, so I'm not going to be able to respond. But if you understand what I'm saying, it's all good. Jeez, I barely speak or read English most of the time, let alone trying another language. Oh, as far as the sharing the screen thing too, so I know some people have done it like where they're doing their normal YouTube stream and they're doing it with another YouTuber, and they'll share the YouTuber screen. Could do it that way. I don't want to do it that way. The reason being, I could be wrong. So I mean, it's something to try out. I just think as somebody viewing it, if you're seeing the second person, so not the main streamer, if you're seeing their screen through Discord, I think because it's only going to be the Discord screen that you're seeing, so just what's happening on the phone, you get to see more of the gameplay. Yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, I was saying to do it as a race and stuff, but I do want to get it done quick. I don't want to be doing it like over a long period of time. So yeah, no 4 stars. Because as it is, so what is it, 8, 12 fights? I think it usually takes, well, what did I say, about 16 to 18 minutes, right? So yeah, so long as you've got 20 energy, you're good. But if you're doing it with a 4-star, yeah, it's going to take more than 18 minutes. What the hell? Wow. Really, eh? You're following all the way across the screen. Jeez. Gata. Not bad, not bad. Extra 25 bucks that you weren't expecting. Can't complain about that. Ugh. Okay. So I'll probably get up to about 1 million or so for the T4B. And then knock out a little bit of the 4s, a little bit of the 3s. You know, the usual. The usual. So what's everyone else up to? Doing arenas? Alliance stuff? Nothing? AQ. Very good, very good. So what range do you guys normally score, Bone Man, for AQ? The Alliance, I mean, currently I think we were on 22 to 2300 last series. So like what place would that be, roughly? Yeah, I didn't actually look at what our final score was. I just saw that we were at I think it was 2203 was our placement. Come on, man. So you know what? If he's got faults around him and he uses his L3, which is obviously not going to matter now, I think he should miss. He's not even going to need his L3 to kill me, though. Oh, okay. So you still get the 3,000 glory per session then, right? Bone Man? Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oof, went a bit too fast there. Okay. Yeah, I think my last alliance, I think we were placing between 137 and 145. Now and then we would drop like 152, so just out of the top 150. And I think in total we were getting about 5,000 glory per AQ series. So, which wasn't too bad at all. Why am I not using Taskmaster? There's no reason why. I mean, other than I don't want to. And here we go, all the way across the screen. Yeah, because that just makes so much sense. cooperated. Excellent. Oh, so in the crystal opening I did earlier today, I got 2 4-star Nexus crystals, and one of them was a Mole Man or a Squirrel Girl dupe. So I wasn't sure which one needed it more, but I went with Squirrel Girl, 4-star. So. Be interesting to see what the go for it, Bowman. We'll raid you while you do your live cav openings. It'll be interesting for the next EQ that's coming up to see what the challenge is going to be. I guarantee if it's not something to do with 4 stars, you're going to have people complain. But I think they did say, like, it wouldn't be a 4-star challenge all the time. Why doesn't she heal this much when I'm playing her? Jeez. Okay. Did they say that in the patch notes that the challenge was with for the side quest rather than the regular event quest? Oh crap! I didn't. Oh, okay, that's what. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. This should be interesting. Yeah, no, I definitely think it's a cool idea, and I like where it's like just a little extra on top, right? It's not as though it's a make or break where you feel that you've got to do it. It's it's a challenge, and you get rewarded for the challenge. So, yeah. As soon as I saw what it was, well, even before I started the Cavalier difficulty for the event quest, I knew I wasn't going to do it with the 4 stars. I'm like, nope. Oh crap, this would actually probably knock me out. My L2 definitely will not knock him out. Oh, well, it will. Excellent. Okay, so go get the 4 stars started. Get the 3 times multiplier going on that, and then the 3 stars. Ooh, no, we probably still have about an hour, a little bit more than an hour, until the 6 stars are available. Okay. Oh, might have some available now, actually. Yeah, I agree with you, Man Falcon, but I think it's the newer players. It'd be interesting actually to know where the majority of their revenue comes from. If it's coming from older accounts that are the 4 and 5 years, or if it's coming from the 1, 2, 2.5 year accounts. Because like up to 2 years ago, I spent a fair bit, and then for the last 2 years, the only time I would spend is Cyber Monday, July 4th. And then the last year, I was doing the unit card every month. I think I went for 14 months or 16 months. But I would think probably like somebody who's relatively new to the game, who has an understanding of how like the unit card or how the sigil will benefit them and stuff. It's probably something they're doing all the time. So, because it would kind of speed up their progression a little bit. And I think those are the people that are probably more likely to take advantage of the offers when they come. Like the relatively decent ones, right? Like the one today, I don't think is that, like, I don't think it's good, but I don't think it's good because you don't know what you're getting. If you knew for sure that you're getting, ABC XYZ champion, then okay. But you don't know, and you also don't know the star level. But if it was the same type of thing, but where you're getting resources or you're getting shards, well, no, because shards are going to be RNG as well. So if you're getting the resources, so you know exactly what you're getting, then I think, for me anyways, I'd be much more, guaranteed value. I'd be much more likely to buy that. Well, and I mean that's why I don't really like if somebody says, "Oh, are you going to buy the offers on Cyber Monday, July 4th?" It's easy to say yes. One of the reasons is simply because I know I'm going to have units, and I know there's going to be extra stuff on top of the units. So what it ends up coming down to for that is simply how much I would spend. And I get the criticism, or when people are like, "Oh, you're spending this on a mobile game, or it's digital, blah blah blah." Yeah, absolutely. But the thing is, the way I look at it is, it's entertainment, right? Like I could say the exact same thing about going and watching Avengers Endgame, right? Oh, you're going to spend, because if you're getting the ticket, popcorn, something to drink, you're looking at $25, $30. And once you've watched it, that experience is over, right? But it's still entertainment. So, and at least with something like this, even with the GMCs, right? Fine, you're not going to use the 3 stars really. But if it's a new 3-star or 4-star, it gives you somebody to rank up. Maybe you want to test them out somewhere. So, yeah. Yeah, no, I see absolutely nothing wrong with spending money on something like this or any other game, right? If you're enjoying it, it's giving you something to do, Why not? Yeah. For me, my reason for spending on the game, or not spending on the game, one is, like I said, the guaranteed value portion of it, and then some of the decisions that have been made recently. I just don't really want to be giving my money to something like that. Not that it's bad. It's just certain decisions that I really don't agree with, and I think are maybe unethical. I don't know if maybe that'd be too strong of a word, but. How's the AQ movements coming along, Bone Man? Oh, okay. So it's both Trump and his wife who tested positive. Okay. Yeah, and but I think maybe so. I'm not really sure why the criticism from some for what someone else does with their money. I'm not really sure the reason for that. Now, that being said, I can see the spending in this being problematic, but it's no different than somebody who has an addiction to gambling, right? I think. Yeah, so if somebody has a problem here, I think it's the same problem as somebody who has an addiction to gambling. Although actually gambling, I mean, because I think maybe people can understand better like an alcohol addiction or a drug addiction, right? Because it's like a substance and the chemical interactions, but the gambling thing actually is a chemical interaction within your brain, right? Like the endorphins and all that kind of stuff. So. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons I don't drink alcohol. So I like at this point in life, like I'd be fine to do it, and I should say I don't drink alcohol, but I don't drink often. So when I was younger, my dad was an alcoholic, and my mom didn't drink at all. So the example of alcohol consumption to me was either it's like what you do all the time, or you don't do it at all. I think if my dad had been more of a moderate drinker, or if my mom had been, then I probably would have been. But from a young age, to me, it was like, yeah, it's you're either go hardcore, or you don't do it at all. So when I was in my teens, like when you would start doing that and whatnot, it just wasn't something for me. And then when I got to a point where I realized, like, okay, no, it's not hardcore or not doing it at all. Like, you can do it in moderation. I just didn't have the taste for it, so. Yeah, gambling, I suppose. Yeah, because I mean, not everybody loses control, right? Some people can control it. Like, say, I got X amount of money, and once that's gone, that's gone. So, I used to play poker a fair bit, and the money part of it was irrelevant. It was more the winning or beating others at the table. So we would play, shit, we'd start like after the workday, so like 6, 7, and we'd often be playing until, on the weekends, like 2, 3 a.m. Weekdays probably until 10 or 11 at night. And for the most of the there was usually 10 of us. Not necessarily always the same 10 people. I played, well, for the most part we were playing at my house, so I was pretty much always playing. But probably 3 out of 5 games I would win. But my problem was the other 2 games I knew I lost, but I would still be betting, just because I wanted to see what the other person had. Oh man. And there were times where, like, I would look to the person to my left, and I'd say, you know what? These are the cards you have. I know you've got me beat, but I want to see your cards. So yeah, I'm gonna put my money on the line. Yeah, actually, I think if I were going to get addicted to anything, because like I don't smoke, I don't do any kind of drugs. I tried marijuana once, and I coughed a bunch, fell asleep, and woke up not feeling too well, and that was it for me for that. So yeah, that's something I wouldn't do. Smoking, I tried it once, didn't like it. I already explained the alcohol thing, but yeah, I think for me, if anything was going to be addicting for me, it'd probably be gambling. But I think for me, it could be a matter of like gambling for $2 or $1 or anything, right? It's just so long as there's something, which maybe that's why I keep bringing up the race thing. Well, no, because I don't care about the winning or losing for that, actually. So the first time I was in a casino, I was in my late 20s, and I had, so where I live now, I had come here for vacation. No, I'd come here, I was taking a break from, because I used to live in northern Canada, and after a long period of time, like especially the winters or whatever, it can just get really draining. So I had decided I was going to just go somewhere else for a period of time. So I left my job, I came here, I was living with a friend, and I think I was with him for like a week or 2 weeks. I'd go to the gym, come home, eat, go to bed early, play some video games, whatever. And then one time he asked me if I wanted to go to a casino. I'm like, okay, sure. I knew how to play poker. I wasn't very good. So that would be the only thing I'd be able to do at the casino. So anyway, so we went, played a couple games, good. And then I ended up going, so we went 2 times. We finished, like, we were there for 2 hours or so. We went a 3rd time. Okay, good. He's playing at one table, I'm playing at another. All of a sudden, somebody comes up, taps me on my back. I turn around, it's my friend. And he's like, oh, we have to go. I'm like, oh, I'm still playing my hand, I'm almost done. No, we have to go right now. I'm like, oh shit, what happened? Like, so I'm thinking maybe something happened to his mom or something like that or whatever, right? So I cash out, and we're leaving. And I'm like, oh, so what happened? He's like, oh, I'm on a list. I'm like, what do you mean you're on a list? I'm on a do not serve list or something. I'm like, what are you talking? So basically, I didn't know that he had a problem, a gambling problem, and so he had put his name on a list of, like, so that he wouldn't be allowed in to the casinos. And I guess their surveillance system picked him up, and people came and said, like, you have to leave, right? Because he had put himself on this list. So we're leaving. I was a bit. He explained it all to me when we got home, and I was kind of pissed off. I'm like, dude. Then when you had asked me initially about going to the casino, you should have told me that, right? Like, for one of 2 reasons. One, so that this didn't happen, where we get kicked out. And 2, if he had told me that, there's no way I would have gone with him. So that kind of pissed me off. But, yeah, anyways. Then later on, another time I was here, I was going to the casino on my own, and I was just surprised. Like, okay, so for me, I was on vacation, so fine. But there were people, like, every time I was going, they were there. Now, they may have thought the same thing about me. But then after I was here on vacation, I went back home. I was back home for like 7-8 months. Then I had come to visit my brother, who lives in the same city. And I just happened to go to the casino once while I was staying with my brother. And the same people from when I was here on vacation were there. And I'm like, okay, this isn't just something you guys do for fun. Like, this is what you this is what you guys do. Like, shit. Yeah, because I think if there's something at stake, it just kind of makes it more interesting, right? Like, honestly, I couldn't play poker if there wasn't, like, even 50 cents. I don't know if I could play poker. Like, I could play it, but I just don't think I would care. Because there's nothing to gain or to lose, right? Although Monopoly, I could play that regardless. Although I haven't played Monopoly in a long time. Chess is another game that I'd play, like, without anything at stake. But maybe it's just because, like, poker, part of the expectation is that it's something financial. So maybe that's why for that yeah. Do you think when people have falling out, like a falling out over money, do you think it's actually the money, or do you think it comes down to more principle? Do you know what bingo is, Man Falcon? It's kind of the old people game. I remember one time when we were in the Caribbean for vacation, and yeah, okay. Yeah, so we were in the Caribbean for vacation, and my brother's mother and father-in-law were with us, and one of my cousins was with us. I don't remember who was playing. I was playing, my brother was playing, my cousin... Oh yeah, so there was 5 of us. So my brother was playing, I was playing, my cousin, and then my brother's in-laws. And we were playing Monopoly. And my cousin was losing. And I don't remember what happened, but anyways, he ended up turning up the board because he'd lost like some properties, and he flipped the board over. And my brother didn't get mad. Well, he was mad, but he didn't like act out, like he didn't yell or anything like that. He's just like, I will never play a game with you again. To my cousin. Oh man. Yeah, I couldn't believe that. Like, and I think so I would have been 22. My cousin was probably 18. I couldn't believe that somebody got pissed off over Monopoly, like with nothing at stake. So in regards to Bingo Man Falcon, the place I used to live in Canada, like it was a big, like twice a week, 3 times a week thing, right? Like, yeah, it was a big deal and stuff. And people would get together and play it, you know, on a pretty regular basis. And so, you know, like people play because there's the chance to win. You don't really expect to, but if you do, it's great, right? And so sometimes you'd have big jackpots, like 10,000, 15,000. Well, big for there, like 10,000, 15,000. But for the most part, it was usually about 5,000. And there were these two friends of mine, and they were good friends. and they played all the time. Well, no, every Friday they played, and they would switch between whose house they'd go. And they always had the standing bet that if either one of them won, they would split it, regardless of what it was. If it was 1,000, they would split 500. It was 2,000, so on and so forth. Anyways, so this one time, I think the jackpot was it was a big one. That's right, it was 10,000. It was a big jackpot, and the one girl won. So she went to collect the money from the bingo. Where they called out the numbers. So it was radio bingo. So you weren't playing like at the place where the numbers were being called. You listened to the radio, blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, so she went to pick up the money. Good. Then the other girl's like, okay, so do you want to just give me a check or do you want to give me cash? And the first girl's like, no, because this is going to help pay off my student loans and, I could really use this. But I'll give you 1,000. And the other girl was just like, nope, I'll drop you off home. And that's it. We won't be playing. And I'm like, so the person who didn't want to pay up was telling me, right? And as far as she was concerned, she was in the right. And I'm like, but the two of you have had this standing agreement for however long, right? And her response was, but the money is going to help me a lot. And I'm like, absolutely, it's going to help you a lot. But prior to 3 hours ago, that money made no difference because it wasn't something in your pocket. Right? So you basically ruined a friendship over, at the end of the day, $5,000. And I'm like, man. Yeah. So I don't, like... And it wasn't like she was destitute or poor or anything like that, right? But even then, you still made the agreement. But, yeah. I remember one time my mom won a jackpot, and it wasn't very much. I think it ended up being $2,500, and she got so excited. She went to call in to say that she had won, but she couldn't speak. Like she called, all she could say was bingo, and the person's like, "Okay, what's the card?" And blah, blah, and she just couldn't speak. So I took the phone and just read off the card for her, but oh my lord, it was too funny. That being said, there was one time when, before it went to radio bingo, where you actually played bingo in person, and this is in my 20s, my lord, I was an old person before I was old. Anyway, so I was there with some friends, and you had like these door prizes, right? They just give you a ticket. And usually it was like $100 or something. Anyways, and they're reading off the ticket, so nobody had the first one, so whatever. They're reading it, the next number off, and I'm looking. It goes each number into session for what's on my ticket. So I had the number, but it took me a second to register, and I didn't know what to do. So I was just like, oh, bingo, even though it wasn't part of the bingo game. Boy. Yep, absolutely. Well, not to get political, but I think most countries could be considered a good country or a great country in normal circumstances. I think it's when shit hits the fan and how the citizens of that country are taken care of by their governments. I think that truly dictates whether it's a good or a bad country. I don't mean bad as in like starting wars or dictatorships or stuff like that. I mean bad as in certain set of citizens are valued more than others. I mean, maybe it's obvious in normal circumstances, but I think when shit hits the fan is when you really see that. So, in the last year, I think there's many places that might be or people in many places that might be reevaluating where they are. And I think that could be said about many many different countries. But yeah, absolutely. As far as friendships go, when you're down on your luck and shit's happening, you definitely know who the people are that care about you. I think there's a lot of celebrities that have probably gone through that kind of thing, right? Like, when they're doing good, they got all the money, they got the nice property, blah blah, and everybody wants to be their friend, right? But when something goes wrong, a bad investment or something like that, and nobody will give them a couch, I think they learn pretty quick. It's a terrible way to learn who your true friends are, though. $45. Ah. Well, I'm 41. So we're not that far off in age. And your whole life has been in New Zealand, Man Falcon? Have you ever had a desire to live anywhere else? So I've probably got about another 10 or so minutes until the stream is done. But I will be back bright and shiny and early tomorrow. Well, maybe not that shiny, maybe not that early, but tomorrow to continue on. Ooh, I need to check 6 stars. Less 6 stars. I don't know if it necessarily be dumb as opposed to just being youthful, but I think yeah, man. If you're gonna make mistakes in life, do it when you're young, right? The repercussions are a lot less too. Well, I guess depending on what the mistake is, but especially if it's financial, though. Like if you make financial mistakes later on in life, it's gonna be pretty difficult to recover. Yeah, you know when people say the question like, "Oh, is there anything you regret in life?" and blah blah. I don't think like for the most part, like looking from my mid-20s onwards into my 40s, I don't think that there's really anything substantially that I would have changed. Because yeah, every now and then I'll be out on my balcony. Just like looking out at the mountains or the scenery and be like, I'm happy where I am in life. I think there's maybe a few times where things I may have said to people along the way, but as far as like big life decisions, like as far as kids or marriage or different employment, that kind of stuff, like yeah, I don't think any of that I would have changed. But so depending on what it is it not something that can be expunged though? Because I think in some circumstances, like if it's like a DUI or a minor drug offense or something, right? Like I think sometimes you can have it removed. But then again, it might cost you. I don't know. Oh, so I never had any run-ins with the law, and for the most part, I mean, I wasn't purposely ever getting in any kind of trouble. But so, like I've said before, I lived in northern Canada, it's a small town. There's about just under 3,000 people in the town, and so there were the people that were kind of known as the troublemakers, and you know, if there was mischief or whatever, that's who did it, kind of thing, right? So I was probably 21, 22, and there was a group of us, and we were down on the beach. And on the beach there was a lot of like industrial equipment. So like, okay. So like a lot of industrial equipment, like construction vehicles and stuff like. Anyways, so there were some tires that weren't on a vehicle; they were just there like as spare tires. And we had a bonfire or a small bonfire going, and I don't know whose idea it was, but we decided we would pick up one of these tires and put it on the fire. So anyway, like it's like a tire from like a loader, right? So it's big. So like we couldn't lift it, so we were able to get it on the back of so for the most part there we're using like ATVs, all-terrain vehicles, and snow machines in the winter. So we're able to get it on the back of one of these ATVs and then drive it down to the bonfire. Good. So we get it there, we get it off of the ATV, we tip it over onto the bonfire. So well, it seemed like a good idea at the time. But anyways, so we tip it on the bonfire. It's fine, you know, it's a little bit of fire still going. We're thinking, oh, it's going to put out the fire. No, not so much. About 5 to 10 minutes of it being on the bonfire, this dark black smoke starts coming up, and we're like, uh-oh. And the thing is, so when we had the bonfire going initially, it wasn't windy. It was a pretty calm, it was like night, morning kind of thing. It was pretty calm. Anyway, so while we were doing this thing with the tire, the wind had started to pick up just slightly, but it was not blowing out toward the water. It was blowing toward town. So we're there, and this thing is like, and so now the tire is like fully engulfed in flame. It's hardcore, and the smoke is coming up, and we're like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? Because we can't get it off the bonfire because it's on fire, right? We could barely lift it previously, so we know we're not going to be able to like push it in the water or anything. So we're like, maybe we should just get out of here. So we're all getting on our ATVs and stuff, and there's probably maybe 6 to 8 ATVs. There's probably 12 people, and so we're starting up our vehicles, and then we hear the fire alarm, like the fire siren from the fire station. We hear that going, and me, I just thought like, oh, maybe it's a house fire or something, and the other people are like, no man, that's our shit. That's why the alarm's going. So we're like, oh shit, we gotta get out of here. So initially, like, we were just taking our time, leaving or whatever, but we hear the alarm go off. So now we're just booking it out. Anyway, so I see the fire truck heading toward us, so I slow down and just act as though I'm just normally driving, right? Like not scared shitless. So good. So we all end up meeting up at my place, and we're like, shit, man, like, oh, what's gonna happen or whatever. So anyways, they put out the fire thing and all this kind of stuff. So the next day, I met one of the people from the night prior, and they're like, oh, did you hear what happened? I'm like, so I'm thinking like maybe they caught one of us or found out that one of us was involved. So I'm like, no, what happened? They're like, oh, you know, so there's, like I said before, right? There's a group that, you know, any mischief or whatever, they get blamed. So apparently that group of 5 kids, well, kids, late teens, had been out walking around and stuff, and the police picked them up because they assumed that they were the ones that started the fire. And of course they're telling the police no, but they don't believe them. Oh shit, when I heard that, I started laughing. Oh man. I'm like, you know what? There's something to be said for, like, you know, just not getting in trouble, right? Because then when shit hits the fan, they're not going to turn to you. Oh man. Yeah. Welcome back, Melvin. How goes it? Yeah. So that was probably like the only time. Well, I actually didn't get in trouble, but the only time I can remember of any like serious mischief in my my past. Oh dear. Yeah. Well, good to know you enjoyed it. Well, what is going on is that the stream is coming to a close, Malvina. That's what is going on. Let's see who there is to go say hello to. I suppose at this time there's probably only going to be one. Yeah. Alright. Well, we'll go with the per usual. And there is the URL. I'm sure he needs no introduction, so yeah. You're looking for somewhere else to go and be entertained? Head on over to BG Stream and say hello. What do you mean, wait, what? You left, you said you were going to be gone for 25 minutes. That was about an hour and 5 minutes ago. So you snooze, you lose, Tagger. But yeah, thanks for coming, hanging out, keeping me company. Mr. Manfalca, it was good to chat with you. Bone Man, good to see you. Mr. PC, good to see you. Malvina, well, you were here for some of it. Mr. Lakers, thanks for stopping by. Oh, there's Mr. Putrid, right at the end. Look at that craziness. Alright guys, have a good one. Take care.